You either walk away or you allow them to pull you back to who you once were. You're starting to grow. You're starting to outgrow these conversations, these reactions, these people. You cannot be doing the things that your old self would do. You have to choose your new self. You have to ask yourself, okay, what would she do right now? You are still actualizing her. You are still becoming her. You have to prove that to yourself first in order to become confident in that. Boundaries plays a huge factor in this topic. A lot of people come into our life, especially at a young age, to teach us the boundaries that we need to uphold from ourselves moving forward. Understand that they're not for you in order to keep moving, in order to be picky about who's around you, and in order to find people that truly align with you, truly lift you up, and truly help you just be a better person. Hello everyone, welcome back to my podcast. My name is Lauren, and today I want to talk about outgrowing friendships. And I feel like this topic isn't talked about enough, honestly. I think you hear a lot online about people, breakups and friendship fallouts and men in general, but I feel like people don't talk about enough the discomfort of just two friends kind of going their separate paths. When we are in our 20s, it can be very uncomfortable and really hard to navigate. Honestly, at whatever age you're at, maybe there's someone that you've been close to for a while and things just start to feel very misaligned. And you might be figuring out that you want to go in a different direction, in a different way, and maybe, those old conversations just don't suit you anymore. And I think that this process is so normal, and I think it's something that everyone is going to have to navigate at some point, because obviously we are all changing all the time in some way or another, and different phases of our life, different situations, different eras are going to bring things up that we might not have seen before, or they're going to bring new visions to life or new ways of being that we want to become. And so when you are in that stage of starting to move that way, starting to move towards, this next goal, this new self, or just figuring out who you are, I think that it is so normal to feel that discomfort, because it's like those friends used to know you as this old version of yourself, and that connection was formed off of this old version that you are starting to move away to, or maybe you're just outgrowing some of those traits and you're starting to maybe recognize that they might not be your friend for life, and that's okay. My friend Elle would always say that the people that come into your life are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So, you might have some friends for life, you might have friends just for a short period of time, or you might just have people that come in to teach you something. And personally, I think everything happens for a reason. You are exactly where you're meant to be. The people that you were friends with, you were meant to be friends with them, and they were meant to come into your life in order to teach you what you needed to learn in order to move forward. If you find that you're starting to outgrow these people, or you're starting to move towards your own path, I think that that's so normal. You guys probably still connect on other things, and you want to keep in touch with them. However you want to go about that is sort of something that I think you will figure out as you go, what that relationship is going to look like down the line. But I think you have to choose yourself first and figure out, what is this next path going to look for you? What is this new self going to look like for you? And start to become confident in that before you can really decide what those relationships might look like. So today I just want to talk more about that, because I feel like this is a topic that I don't want to say I have experience in, because I feel like that sounds so egotistical of me to say, but more of just, I have been on this unique path, I think, for the last couple of years. I have moved a lot. I've moved a total of 7 times, and each time I have moved, I have just sort of had a restart. I've always had people supporting me along the way, people that I've really kept up with, and of course I will keep up with everyone on social media. Like, I've genuinely loved everyone that I've met, but I also know that there was people that I was really close to in those past eras that I might not see myself being close to in the future, and that's okay. But for me, it was kind of figuring out how to navigate those friendships and navigate those relationships when I felt like I was becoming a different person, because each time I moved, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about the world, and I moved countries like 3 times, so of course I'm gonna change, in some ways. And so I just felt like I was changing and I was growing as a person. Of course, I have so much love for everyone. Everyone's on their own path, and I think that's something that if you're going through, you have to keep in mind as well, like everyone's on their own path, everyone's on their own journey. It's not a race. It's not, who can grow faster than the other. Like, no, that's not the mindset here. It's more of just like, okay, I know that I'm changing, and I know that I am not the same person that they used to know me as, and I need to figure this out. For me, coming from someone that would struggle with people pleasing and caring about what others thought, it was always really hard for me to catch up with those old friends. It felt very uncomfortable. I felt like, and this is nothing on them at all, this was purely me, but I would be in these situations with people and I knew that I didn't align with those conversations anymore. I didn't align with the things that they were talking about. And in the past, I might have talked about those things. I might have brought those things up. I might have laughed at certain jokes, but I knew that I was becoming a person that didn't want to do that anymore. And for me, I almost felt bad making them uncomfortable when I wouldn't respond or when I wouldn't laugh or when I wouldn't talk about this person. And so it was almost like I felt weird because I was making them uncomfortable, and they were probably being, a little shocked when I would do those things, when I would choose my new self over those old reactions and over those responses. And at that time, I was still becoming confident in who I was, but I was also working through people pleasing, and I was also working through not caring about what they would think. And so it was just a lot of navigating those all combined. And, I also think as women, a lot of us grow up feeling like we can't always choose ourselves. I think there's a lot of women out there that have developed the tendency to be a people pleaser. I think the statistic is like 50%. So I think it's uncomfortable for a lot of women to also choose themselves and not other people. And that was something that I was, navigating, was like that guilt of like, okay, I need to choose myself. Like, I want to show up for them and I want to be there for them and I want to make them happy and show them love. But it's like every time I felt like I was with them, I was just pulling myself back to the person I used to be. And I remember one of my friends, Nick, shout out to you, he said this quote that always stuck with me that really helped me, because this was when I was really struggling. But he said, you either walk away or you allow them to pull you back to who you once were. For me, I just knew that it was better for me to walk away and distance myself from old friends for a little while so I could navigate that in-between phase of just becoming this new self. And I still wasn't confident in her yet. I still didn't know her yet. I was still figuring out what that looked like and what she was like. I had to just take time for myself, and it can be a very lonely process. But I think that it is something you are meant to do alone. When you are in this in-between phase of letting go of things that no longer serve you, of becoming this new self, becoming this new person, and discovering the world for yourself, like that's an inner journey. Like that's something you need to commit to for yourself. And if you can have a support system around you, if you can have people that you can talk to about these things, that's really great. But I think it also depends on the people that you would hang out with before. I guess for me, I had to go through this period alone, and I had to spend a lot of alone time, and I just had to commit to myself and really just walk away from people and situations that no longer served me, because for me it just felt like it was not, again, it just wasn't serving me. And you are who you surround yourself with. I truly believe in that. And if you are discovering things about maybe someone that you don't want to be around, that you don't want to give your time and energy to that, like that's okay. I want you to know that that's okay. Like that is part of you're discovering your boundaries. You're learning the things to look for when it comes to future friendships down the line, that you can't be with people like that, and you know how they'll affect you and how they'll affect you mentally. And maybe this just looks like people that gossip all the time, that judge people for their bodies, that are very surface level, and that's okay. Again, you need to walk away from those people with love, because that's all that they know. That's all that they know. And you cannot think that you are better than them. You cannot shame them for that, because at one point you didn't know better either. And you have to show your past self love for those traits that she once had, that you had to work through, Again, you worked through that, and that's like, congratulate yourself. That's so good, but you have to release that old self with love, because all she did was teach you what you now know. And if you don't walk away out of love, you are then going to find those traits in other people, and you're gonna look down on them for that. Those traits are gonna really annoy you because you're annoyed with your old self for doing those things. Like, release it with love. Like, understand that your past self didn't know any better. She was trying her best. She was trying her best, and that was all she knew. And so it's like, you have to release those people, just knowing that, they're not waking up and choosing. I mean, of course they're choosing to, gossip and talk about people like that, but it's also ingrained in a lot of society. It's ingrained in past generations. It's just a part of life. The things that people do, it's just all that they know. So anyways, you have to release it with love. You have to let go of them with love and compassion. And do not turn around and start yapping behind their back. There's a double-edged sword here, and karma will get you. Karma will get you, okay? Like, you just have to understand that everyone is trying their best and everyone is doing all that they can with what they know. And you cannot change a person. That is up to them to change. And if they are comfortable where they are at, that's okay. That is okay. All you can do is figure out the people that you actually want to be around. And if it's not those people anymore, that is okay. Your people are going to come. But you have to become confident in that new self. You have to actualize that new self before you can attract those people, before they will come into your life. But you have to make room for that first. And you have to choose that new self right now. You have to choose that new self. Because once you put in that effort for getting spiritual, getting religious, but the universe and God will see that you are committed to that. You are committed to that version. You are committed to that, I was going to say vision, but they both work. You're committed to that and that new person, and the divine is going to see that and be like, okay, first off, let's help her out. Let's help her grow. Let's help her become, and then she'll meet the people that she's ready to meet, because that's exactly what happened to me. Again, it was a lonely process, but the friends that I have, the close friends that I have, align with the person that I am. But for a while, I always would attract people that aligned with me. Always. When I look back at some of the friendships I had, and again, this is no hate to anyone. We are all on our own journey. We are all learning at our own pace. And honestly, this is me talking about myself, because I had a lot of insecurities. I did not have boundaries. I was, I love her. She had fun, okay? She had her fun. There was a lot of good in her too, but like, she struggled a lot. I look back at the person that I used to be, and, because I believe you attract what you are. And if you attracted those people at one point in your life and they no longer align with you, you're just outgrowing that version of yourself. And so you're going to outgrow those people as well. And you're moving towards this new version, but you have to keep choosing that new version every single time. When you are with those old friends, sometimes we can't control who we're around all the time. Sometimes we just have to navigate relationships that we feel like, they might not serve us. Sometimes we have coworkers. Sometimes, it could be a family member or whatever it looks like. When you are around those people and you are, you're in this moldable period, you're in this moldable phase of like, you're starting to outgrow these conversations, these reactions, these people. You have to choose yourself in every small thing. You have to choose the person that you are becoming in every reaction, in every conversation, in everything that you say. And it sounds mentally exhausting, because it is. But it's important, because you have to prove to yourself first that you are not this person anymore. You are not going to do that anymore, and you don't identify with that trait. Let's say you don't want to gossip anymore. The minute that your friend starts gossiping, you cannot be laughing. You can't be giving in, doing the things that your old self would do. Every time they start gossiping, you have to choose your new self. You have to ask yourself, okay, what would she do right now? Would she laugh? Would she gossip? Or would she choose silence? Or would she just stay in her lane, not give in? Like, you have to choose that new self every single time. Because you, again, you have to build that, you are still actualizing her. You are still becoming her. This comes back to manifestation. You can literally make yourself believe that you are her, okay? And this is where affirmations come in, like waking up every day, like, I am releasing gossiping, I released gossiping, I don't gossip anymore, whatever it is. But act like you are her and ask yourself, what would she do in this situation? Because the more you start practicing being her, you will become that. Your boundaries will get so much stronger. And so it's like every time that, you know, they're doing things, they're talking about things, they're laughing at things, or whatever it is, or maybe they're just having a conversation that doesn't even pertain to you. You don't gotta respond. You don't gotta give anything your mental energy if you don't want to. Like, if they're just talking about something like that you don't really care about, like, that's fine. That's fine. Just don't talk, right? Like, you don't have to be fitting in all the time. And, you know, like, maybe if they say a joke and you don't feel like laughing because that's not something that you want to do anymore, don't laugh. And I know that it's weird and it's uncomfortable, and maybe I sound a little bit rude, but it's like, you need to choose yourself every single time. That is self-love. Self-love is not giving into everybody because you want to make them comfortable. It's not laughing at jokes you don't find funny because you want to make them comfortable. That's people pleasing. And you're going to lose yourself every single time in other people if you just do that. So you have to choose your new self. You have to choose the woman that you want to be, or the person that you want to be, and the person that you want to become. Again, it takes mindfulness, but you have to prove that to yourself first in order to become confident in that. And if that means walking away from people, distancing from some people for a while, that's okay. You're choosing yourself and you're choosing self-love, and it's a process for you. And it might feel weird navigating it alone, but it is so important. It's so important. But you're gonna learn so much from it. And again, I sound rude when I say this because I believed for so long that it was rude. You have to be able to be okay with making people uncomfortable. If you are so, you know, if you want to make people comfortable all the time, you don't got to do that. You are disrespecting yourself. You are disrespecting yourself, and you're gonna, again, keep losing yourself and other people. And you have to be okay with choosing yourself. So if your friend is expecting you to laugh at something and you don't laugh and it makes them uncomfortable, that's okay. You already know that this person, you guys might be disaligned, but they don't know that. They don't know that. They might, again, everyone's on their own journey, and you might be changing at a different rate than they are. So you know that the relationship's not the same, okay? But they might not know that. But if you can become okay with just choosing yourself and being okay with it being a little bit uncomfortable, they will be able to see that as well. They will be able to see that as well. They might not understand it, but they might start to notice, like, wow, she's not gossiping. Wow, she's not talking bad about this person anymore. Wow, she's, you know, she's really committed to these goals and these visions and these new ideas that she has, like, you know. And they might be a little shocked, but you might be a little shocked too at how well they might just accept that. But they might also see too, like, okay, maybe this friendship isn't as aligned as I thought. Maybe things are going to start looking a little different because she's changing. And honestly, I believe, like, if they're good friends, if they're meant to be in your life, they will be in your life. If someone is meant to be in your life, they will be in your life. But if they notice that, you know, you're changing as a person and they don't like that, let them leave. They're not your people anyways. They're not your people anyways. Like, if they're not going to accept you for the person that you are becoming, they were meant to be in your life for a season, and that's okay. If they don't align with the person you're becoming, that is okay. And however they want to talk about you, however they want to think about you, let them. You have to detach from what they're going to think. You have to detach from what they're going to say, because you are on your own path. You are on your own path and they're on their own path. This can look very uncomfortable, and it's really sad. I think that in a way, once you start to understand that you're becoming different people, it can be, you kind of have to mourn that, you know, especially, you know, depending on how long you guys were friends for. At this time, we are all so connected more than ever, and like, everyone has access to you if you allow that. And so I think it takes a little bit more mindfulness and a little bit more of just being aware when it happens of, okay, I have to intentionally kind of distance myself for a little bit to become this new person. And I think there's a lot of conversation online about how quickly people can cut each other off when they are starting to change, and I don't necessarily think that's how it has to be at all. If someone is supporting you and they are loving you no matter what from afar, like, keep that. Maybe you know that, you guys might not be as close, but you will always support each other. You will always love each other no matter where you are in life. But it's also knowing about what that love actually looks like. It is knowing who those true friends are, and you have to feel supported by them. You have to truly be loved by them for the person that you are becoming. And so if you can recognize that they are going to do that for you, like, that's so great. Everyone that I've met along the past couple years, like, I just keep moving, but it's like I love everyone so much from afar. I love keeping up with everyone and I love seeing what everyone's doing, but it's like I understand that, unless the universe the universe works in mysterious ways. I have friends that have came back into my life and both of us look completely different, but like in a way more aligned way. Like it's so interesting how sometimes things just work out like that, but and sometimes you just have to go your own ways before you can come back together, and that's totally fine. Like, again, this process is something that everyone's gonna have to figure out eventually, I think, for themselves, or at least everyone will go through a period of self-discovery or just figuring out what they truly want, and I feel like that's gonna look so different for everyone. And it should be a journey. It should be a journey for yourself. So trust yourself and trust that process and trust the uncomfort. When something feels uncomfortable, that means you're gonna grow and there's gonna be something good that comes out of it. But I would say my biggest advice, choose yourself rather than surrounding yourself with people that don't serve you or your growth. I promise there's people out there that, that align with you, that align with that new version of you, and you are going to find those people, but you just have to choose yourself and choose that process that's going to happen for you. And you probably have an idea of what you need to do in order to just keep that process going. And of course, again, love them, support them from afar. I'm just saying this is what has worked for me, and this is what has helped me truly be able to work through what I needed to work through in order to be confident in the person that I am now. And now I can say with confidence, I can catch up with an old friend and not feel so anxious going into the situation because I was so scared of just reverting back to my old self. But it took me a while, and I honestly had to go through a lot alone in order to figure out who I was and who I'm becoming. And, I'm still navigating that. But yeah, you're exactly where you're meant to be, though. Like, everything happens for a reason, and those people were in your life to teach you something. I think boundaries plays a huge factor in this topic. A lot of people come into our life, especially at a young age, to teach us the boundaries that we need to uphold from ourselves moving forward, and teaching us the traits that we can look for in others and understand that they're not for you in order to keep moving, in order to be picky about who's around you, and in order to find people that truly align with you, truly lift you up, and truly help you just be a better person. And so just be mindful of that. Choose yourself over the comfort of others. Period. Boom. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Everything is happening for a reason. You're learning all that you need to learn, and take what you learned and take what you now know moving forward, what to look for in other people, maybe things that you need to work on yourself, because obviously, I hate to say it, but you aligned with them at one point and they came in to teach you something. I don't think anyone comes into your life for no reason. It's all for a reason. So take what you learned and choose yourself, choose your path, and be picky about who's around you. Uphold your boundaries and just be mindful moving forward. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for listening, so much for watching. I really hope that this episode helped. I really hope that it gave you some ideas on maybe how to navigate whatever you're going through. I think that this topic is very subjective, and it's very, there's so many different situations. Like every situation is going to look different. So just do what you think is best for you. And yeah, you're gonna figure it out, and you're gonna end up wherever you're meant to go. So yeah, but thank you guys so much. I hope to see you in another episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great morning, a great day, a great night, wherever you are. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.